I'm a little shocked that you contacted me. You know, I mean, after so many months that I've been here, and I hadn't heard from anybody or anything about anything.
There was a lot of stuff going on. I mean, there was a lot of volatility going on. Now, did you call me or did I call you?
You called me.
Well, someone said that you called the front desk.
I called to speak to Denise.
Oh,
I was calling about, you know, if Denise was back at work, because I know she's been sick, and I tried to contact her when she was in the hospital. And I hadn't heard anything, and she crossed my mind. I said, well, let me call and see if somebody can tell me where she is. Is she back at work? And she answered the phone. And I was like, oh, Denise, she's back at work. And
if I had said something, you know what? Let me know how to get a hold of Trish. And then Denise said, she just called a few minutes ago.
Okay, well, I was calling to talk.
No, that's cool.
I had any reason to,
Like I said, there was a lot of volatility going on around here in the last couple of weeks. And we just had to do some stuff that I wasn't all that comfortable about, but we just kind of had to do it. You've always had a real passion for the radio station. That's one thing I think everybody acknowledged, whether we agreed with everything or not. I think we all felt that you knew and understood the format, especially as it pertained to the black community.
Okay.
We have a sales issue in that we're not really able to penetrate the black community. We just don't have people who know people there, and we don't really have, we just don't have the right people in-house to do it. And when I was having this discussion, somebody said, well, just Trish. So that's what I'm doing. I mean, I just figured if you had some thoughts or some ideas or some interest or something, it might be something that we could work out. Because we're only doing 40 or 50 or 60% of the job on that radio station, depending on how you look at how it's split. I mean, it's just such a unique situation that here's a station that obviously, and the more we're just looking at it and examining it, it has a real split appeal, and most stations are either or. It's very rare that you can find a station that actually can make
taps into the entire community.
And we're becoming more and more aware of the fact, and then beginning to realize that we're not really doing the best job we can for us, because we don't really have any people in-house who can go out and get us that extra 30, 40, or 50, or 60% of the audience. I'm not sure what it is. It seems to fluctuate. It's about a 40 to 50% split, and that's pretty amazing. You can't really do that very often.
Right. Are you saying in terms of representation as far as your account executives not being a minority base to be able to go into the minority community?
Well, I think they can go, but they don't know where to go. They don't have contacts there. I mean, one thing that's pretty clear to me, that regardless of whether you're talking about black, white, brown, pink, or yellow, somebody just walking in new has a rough, long haul to go. If you don't have, if you haven't spent some time in Charleston, you don't have some connections and know some people in Charleston, and you want to just start fresh, it's a pretty difficult, frustrating process.
Right.
And that if you do have connections, you do have contacts, and you do know people, just facilitates you, just helps the movement better.
Right.
And I'm going to look for people who do have some experience, and who do have some knowledge, and who have spent some time in the community. And before I just go out, talk to people who I have no idea who they are, I just thought I would talk to you first and see if you had any thoughts or any interest or any ideas that this was at all of interest to you. I mean, it sounds like you have a really good job, and I'm not really saying quit the job and come to do this. What I am saying is maybe there's a way you can continue doing what you're doing, and this is a project that has some interest to you. You might have some ideas.
Okay. So are you presenting this in the form of as a sales executive or as a promotional marketing type liaison, or?
You know what? I'm just ready. I had no thoughts. I just figured out of all the people who have worked here, you're the one person who always made a point of talking about the black community, of having contacts in the black community, of having a
Mm-hmm. Well, I think all your, with the exception of Denise, I think all your employees are.
But this is a radio station that needs a blend of color if we want to really maximize what it's doing. 98 Rock, you know what? It's a white guy radio station. It's pretty basic, pretty clear.
Right.
Most radio stations in this town are either or.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think you're somebody, if you're interested, you might be able to have some ideas.
Well, I mean,
certainly we'd want to compensate you at some level for it. I mean, I don't know exactly what kind of job it is you currently have, whether this sounds appealing to you or whether it's not something you're interested in at all.
Well, let me say a couple of things, because you and I never really had an opportunity to talk on this level before. I know we met briefly, and we had a few meetings, and I've always felt that whatever information that I had to bring to the table, I was kind of like, you know, you don't know what you're talking about, lady, kind of attitude that I felt. Just in general.
Right. Probably true.
And it is true.
Oh, okay. I don't doubt it for a second.
And even for myself, opportunities that I've tried to position myself for when I was here as an employee, I just felt that I was not, considered as an asset or anybody that has the knowledge or the connection, so to speak, that you're implying that has come to realization now. I do have a lot of ideas. I do have a lot of suggestions. And I have had a passion for the radio station, not specifically because of the black community, but because it plays urban music as a format. And that white people listen to it because it may be the top 40 song that they heard growing up that they felt was acceptable. So they said, okay, I like that song. It's acceptable to me. It's worth me listening to. And now there's a station that's playing that. Where for the black community, it has a whole different meaning. It has a whole different context of passion for the black community. It doesn't mean the same thing to a white person as it does a black person when they're listening to the same song.
Right. What's interesting is there's plenty of stations in this market. So if you're a black person looking for a culturally put together radio station for you, you've got 4 or 5 options out there. Most of them are young.
You do.
One of them's really middle AC,
Right.
But I mean, there's real places just to make you feel right at home. They're really there for you.
But it's about also the demographic and the age demographic that you're talking about, and it's not just about women. The men are very significant in it too. And you have to, broaden that awareness. And there's a lot of things I could get off into that I know. Because I dream of having my own radio station, and I've learned from other radio stations what makes Cool 105 unique, and it's a shame that it's classified in the books as a mediocre station, is because it does emphasize the oldies format of the true R&B songs, the original foundation of R&B. But it's so much more involved than just how I feel, the white sector looks at it as, oh, that's a good song, I like it, I can shag to it, or I can do this to it or that.
That's pretty much what it is. It's kind of like, it's music that isn't so ethnic that it's black music.
Yeah, it's acceptable to them in that manner.
Because of the whole beach music thing,
right.
We're on the coast, and because it's really was mainstream in the 70s.
Yeah.
By and large, everyone's familiar with it. And some people really just tend to like rhythmic music.
Yeah.
And this is it. We could certainly take music of the 70s and make it far more urban sounding if we wanted to. Mm-hmm. We could also lighten it up a lot.
Yeah.
Which I think we have a pretty good mix at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're not doing is we're not really dealing with 30 to 50% of our audience very effectively.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think that is?
It's just a bunch of white people.
Okay. Well, at least you're honest in that regard about it.
No, I mean, that's true. It's just a bunch of white people. How can we possibly do that? And you know what? If I send a bunch of white people into the black community, I'm not sure that they're going to, even if they're sincere and really looking for the right answers, I'm not sure they're going to get a particularly positive reception. I don't know that they deserve a particularly positive reception. Because if it was me in the role reverse, I'd say, why isn't there a black person calling on me? Why isn't there somebody who really knows me a lot deeper than you're trying to know me? I appreciate your sincerity, white person, but why isn't your company hire a black person to to do this job. I mean, that's just kind of where I might be coming from.
Yeah.
Some people might be thrilled with this white people coming in and trying to get involved in the black community, but it just takes a big education. I mean, you look at Magic, you look at 3WC, you look at, what's the thing, Power. I mean, these are stations from top to bottom designed to appeal to a group of people. You know, just like 98 Rock. We've designed 98 Rock to appeal to a group of people. Cool's a little different animal.
101, 101 is probably your biggest competition. It's not 102, even though they're an oldies format.
But the white community is. See, you're right. In the black community, Magic is our main competitor.
But
in the white community, it's 102.
But at the same time, the white people that listen to 105 aren't going to go anywhere else. They may flip-flop from time to time, but if they already like this space, they're going to stay with this space. It's going to be their primary one.
Just looking at Arbitron, I see a lot of cross-cueing between the
Yeah, sometimes, yeah, but then there's always a reason for them to come back here, and then you capitalize on that as well. But I think, you know, a basis of it, and I will think about what we're talking about. You can think about some of the things that I've said, but I think a lot of
here's an idea.
Where we need to start is internally. You know, I think it's an internal issue as well. So.
Right. Although if we had things going on, we're such a small group of people here that if we had 2 or 3 people doing something externally, it would have a major influence internally. Okay. Here's just an idea.
Well, that's what I mean internally. You got to change the complexion of within a little bit in order to filter in what you need from the outside.
I don't disagree. If we want to do this, but here's an idea now. You have a full-time job at Millie.
Yes.
Okay. If you knew 2 or 3 people who you thought could be really effective at this, and you wanted to have a piece of this, what we're talking about, I would work with you in whatever time frame you needed. We would get these 2 or 3 people together and put together a sales group where if they were successful, then you would have some of their success, and I would have most of their success. Because it's my radio station.
Okay.
So I deserve X, they deserve Y, you deserve Z. Because in terms of the day-to-day effort, yours would be minimal. We would pay you for finding the right people, for spending a little time with them about what you and I decide we want.
Okay.
They would work for me primarily, but with you or for you part. And we'd just kind of take the pot of money that they bring in and collect and split it up equitably. So that's kind of an idea. See, I don't know those 3 people.
Okay.
Maybe you don't either. And maybe the real answer is, I don't really know 3 good, hard-working, self-motivated, conscientious, sales-oriented people who could do this job. I know that I don't know them. If you know them, then those are assets that I would be willing to compensate to find.
Right. I understand what you're saying, but I'm also, and point well taken on that. I agree with you on that, but also your on-air staff has to also reflect a portion of that too.
Right.
You can't continually send, a white DJ into, no matter how good they may be, into a black community. Well, you can, because I think black people are a little bit more, get more comfortable and receptive to a white person than the other way around. But at the same time, there's an identity situation that's there also.
I had 3 black salespeople who were really committed to the station, and one of them maybe had some on-air talent, or even you had some on-air talent. I would have no problem paying you X dollars to be a voice on the radio station to go do a remote, if that's what we felt was the best thing for the radio station to do. Or maybe one of these 3 people who you possibly know might have some potential on-air talent. They could be the talent. Or we could send a white guy and have one of our 3. I mean, there is no really simple
So you're just
answer.
basically trying to formulate a recipe right now and see if you can get success with it.
Right.
Well, how are you? I know you told me the other day that you let Lee go. So, if you don't, can you share with me what your on-air staff
Yeah, John
situation is?
Major. I don't know if you met John.
I met him briefly once.
I have Linda. Those are the only 2 people who are on staff right now. And we're tracking underday parts and time for us. I've got about 4 weeks before I have to be able to make. Well, actually, it's 8 weeks for the fall books. It doesn't start till September.
September?
Yeah, like September 19th, September 21st. So I've got time, but I figure by 4 weeks I want to have the game plan ready. Because by Labor Day or Memorial Day.
Labor Day.
Because by the end of Labor Day, everybody kind of shifts back into fall gear. I gotta have my game together by then. So that's kind of where I'm looking. By Labor Day, I want to have the people in place, and that's the station I want to have going forward.
Okay.
Although school starts quicker, it always used to be
latter part of August.
Right.
Now, like the last week in August.
Right.
Yeah.
But Labor Day still becomes end of summer. People's life goes back to that 10 months out of the year. I mean, trying to get anything done in the summer is crazy. Even trying to deal with my friends. Everybody's running everywhere. People are out of town. People are here. There's just a lot more freedom, especially because the kids are out. People have to figure out a way to entertain their kids.
Right.
So that's different. Now that the kids go back to school, Labor Day, the days start getting shorter. We get returned back to a more predictable lifestyle. So the summer is.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that can happen during that time frame.
Right.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm not in a super rush. We did what we did with Lee for a variety of different reasons. And you know what? He was a really good guy and a really bright guy. But there were others.
Yeah.
So now it's just a function of exploring what the possibilities are. And although we probably haven't agreed on everything you've done and the way you've done it, I'm not one to really harbor a grudge or kind of just do somebody because I don't agree. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I did appreciate your concern and your passion for me. Even though if it was up to me, you would say something to me, I would have asked you to do it differently. This is the way you felt you needed to do it. That's fine,
Well, the problem is that some of my concerns, when I addressed them to my first line supervisor, I was told that it would be taken care of and it didn't need to go any further because there were some issues that when they occurred, I wanted to talk to you, but you were not available. You were out of town. And so then I had to talk to who I thought, and maybe in that respect you weren't as aware of as I thought you were, or Mr. Martin wasn't as aware of as I thought he was.
Right.
And at some point when you have a general manager and an owner of a company and things are happening and you're bringing these things to someone's attention that should be keeping these people informed and nothing's being done about it, then you wonder, well, do you not care yourself or does Mr. Martin not care? So when I finally had my fill of it and decided to leave, the letter that I wrote him was to, enlighten him in case he was aware and just decided, with her, I wanted to put it in formal format so that he would know. And I also wanted to do it in case he didn't know.
Right.
And I found out that I guess there were some things that he didn't know.
Well, I was thinking a lot of what you said, both he and I were aware of at a certain level. There were some things you said that I don't necessarily agree with, and there were some things you said that we were totally unaware of. It's kind of a combination, which has to do with your point of view, our point of view. But there was no question in my mind that you were somebody who cared about the radio station.
All right. But in that, I thought, too, well, if I'm able and capable and wanting to do more, why was I not being offered an opportunity to do more rather than just, the weekend gig? And there were several times that day parts came open, and I was never offered the opportunity to say, would you like to try it or no? I was never even asked. I had to ask. I had to inquire. And when I inquired, I was always told, we have somebody else in mind. That kind of thing. And I didn't...
Right. I wasn't really aware of that so much. But it's history.
Yeah, it is. But anyway, but that...
And it looks like it's all worked out well for you, I hope.
Stimulated. Oh, well, yeah. I have an impressive work history background. I've educated myself, and I've learned through all types of experiences. Traveled, been in the military, put myself through college. So...
Some good, some bad. It's pretty much the way it goes.
Well, yeah, a few not so good, but you take a negative experience, learn from it, and make it positive. And that's what I've tried to do.
Well, here's an opportunity. Okay? And I would say that if you're happy in your job, let's just keep that separate. If here's an opportunity for you to possibly do something a little bit on the side, keep your hand or foot or toe or something in radio, make a little money. If we're successful, have a kind of a management kind of position in this little thing that we put together. Or basically go, man, I work 8, 9, 10 hours a day. I'm pretty fried at the end of the day. Thanks, but no thanks. I mean, that's fine too. And then that was really it. I don't really have a lot of answers for you. I'm not saying quit your job, come back and do this.
Well, no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
No. But I didn't think I said that. I didn't think that's what you heard. What you heard from me was, back when we separated, you were somebody who I heard your message loud and clear. I didn't have to agree with it. A lot of things people say I don't agree with. I don't really care.
Right.
I really kind of look if it's coming from the heart or if it's just coming from self-serving.
Right.
A lot of what you said I thought was really sincere. It came from the heart. I've got an issue that kind of addresses areas that you address. Like I said, I'm not saying we agreed on everything.
Right.
We've been agreed on most of it. You brought up some points that I thought were really well taken.
Okay. I appreciate you
I'm
saying
throwing this on the table. Here's an opportunity. The real answer is let's think about it. Get back to me one way or the other.
Okay.
But if you can cover it, but if you know people and you have a pretty clear idea about what it is, what I'm trying to accomplish, this could be a win situation for you, a win situation for them, and a win situation for the radio station, and a win situation for the community, ultimately, that everybody kind of benefits at a certain level. And believe me, if I could hire 2 or 3 people and give them a decent salary and throw you some money and let me make some money, let the station really be financially viable and credible, everybody wins.
I got you. Okay.
Let me know.
All right.
Cool.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
I appreciate it.
Nice seeing you again.
Nice seeing you too.
How's your son doing?
He's doing fine. And, in fact, I'm getting ready to take him to
Where did you decide to go to school?
University of South Carolina. For a minute, my mind went blank. He'll be there on the 4th. I'm taking him up there.
Well, where's he going to school?
University of South
Oh,
Carolina.
he's made his decision.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's got a scholarship to go to
Right,
University of South
I know, but I thought there were a bunch of schools looking at him when you said that.
Oh, there were a bunch of them, but he's going to go to University of South
I
Carolina.
thought maybe that was just you were going up there to make your final. See, I don't know what the time frame is when you have to make your decisions. I guess you had to make a decision a while ago.
He signed back in February.
Oh, really? That early?
See, you have been paying more attention to me when I was here. You'd have known that already.
You know what? I don't know. I mean,
That's right.
For college, what do I know? I just got my daughter back from England.
Okay.
She was over there for a year.
Oh, really?